What's going on, everyone? This is gonna be a quick video, but I saw something in my games versus Evil Darkness, just you know, first games I played in this group stage of the con, but whatever. Um, but I think it would make an important point, so I decided to make a quick video about it. And the idea is that adaptation essentially is important, and we can see kind of. Let me let the fucking thing load because I think it lags. But yeah, the idea is adaptation and having a plan and that kind of shit. So, and like, right, since you have a series, right, best of three series, same factions, and you'll see we don't even change our armies at all. Um, if you have a plan but it doesn't go right in the first game, well, you better fucking fix that shit in the second game. There's no point in losing to the same thing that already didn't work in the first game. Now, the first game is on Migdal. He picked it. Not really sure why. But I guess these forests are kind of nice for Tillist because it's an infantry faction. And so you can see his army here. The flanks are anchored by two Oathsworn. So he has two Oathsworn, one Tribal, two Noble Cav, four Jav Cav, three Celtics, like three or four Spear Warriors, and some Heavy Freemen. And some Slingers, three Slingers as well. And so his flanks are anchored by these Oathsworn. And my army is 4 Axe Warriors, 2 Celtics, 3 Massilian Hoplites, 2 Lancers. My general is in the fucking Lancer. I didn't mean to do that. He was supposed to be in the Massilian Cav. But I have 3 Massilian Cav, 2 Lancers, 3 Slingers, 3 Jav Cav. And so you're pretty much gonna have to take this head on, right? He has more Jav Cav, he has equal Slinger power, so it's gonna be a melee fight. And so the idea for me is that I have better numbers, so somewhere he's going to be weaker than me. But his two Oathsworn are anchoring the flanks, which means I'm really stronger in the center, which is not always that good, because you can get, surrounded in the center, and you can always kite the center back as well. He's got 4 infantry units there. So I need to attack a flank and try to win, and try to surround from a flank, because I have more cav, right? So if I can surround, my cav will be useful. If I can't surround, they'll be kind of shit. Anyway, we're just skirmishing here. Trying to skirmish out of the forest. He was focus firing this unit, so I just ran away. Blah blah blah. We're trading some Jav Cav on the flanks, and now you can see his Oathsworn comes into the center here a little bit, right? So I want to overlap this flank, kill off his cheap units. The Oathsworn can fucking survive. It doesn't matter if I kill the cheap units. My Cav is going to win the game because his cheap units are the things with javelins that can prevent my Cav from just overwhelming. So he's going to come up the center with his Oathsworn, and so my plan is to attack the flank and kite on this flank away from this other Oathsworn. I don't want to fight both Oathsworn at once because they're just too strong. He javelins my Slinger in the forest there, whatever. I'm just running away here. Again, I don't want to fight the Oathsworn early. I'm going to rotate over this way because I'm going to overlap on this flank, and you can see I'm already sending it with my entire flank force here. So here I'm going to start fighting the Oathsworn, whatever. Just get the javelins out. I'm in the forest, so not terrible. Although I'm taking some bird shots. By the way, here we go on the flanks, so this is all good. I'm going to charge him here because he's running away, but I don't even have to do that to get in. So I'm going to kill this Levy Freeman off, right? And this is all according to plan right now, because now I'm going to win on the flanks. His Celtics are rotating this way. This Oathsworn is kind of trapped in no man's land. It could go this way, but then my Missing Hopblade is going to kill his spear. So I'm winning every other fight besides the Oathsworn. So this is all good so far. But over here, you can see he starts to get very aggressive here. Okay, I countercharge his Spear Warrior with my Celtic. That's fine. I'm going to get a good fight. But his Oathsworn's on the way, right? And his Oathsworn's going to dominate this fight. And again, I've rotated heavily onto this flank. So I don't expect to win here. Here, his Oathsworn comes in, and it gets a good fight into these Massilian Hoplites. I try to kite out with this Massilian Hoplite, countercharge with this guy, whatever, good enough. Over here, we're trading Jav Cav pretty well for me, because better armor. But you can see I'm not really around the flank yet. And over here, now we have a problem, because his Oathsworn is engaging. So I did kite successfully on this flank, which means now I'm going to lose over here, and I'm on a much faster timer. I have to win over here faster before his Oathsworn just kills everything over here and keeps walking over here. His Tribals in the center can win some fights there as well. So I'm just attacking on the flank. Here I've got my Axe Warriors into his Celtics. Axe Warriors into Celtics. Here I'm trying to get some nice root charges on the Oathsworn, because this is his Lancer, so it's going to get some nice kills in the side here. Just kind of charge my Terrantines. I can see he's attacking on this flank pretty freely because I don't have much units over there. His general has enough support, so my Pest Lancer can't really do much. And this is already kind of looking dangerous because this Oathsworn is getting so much value in the center. It's protected by the spear. I'm not beating up these guys. I haven't gotten around the flank with my Cav yet either, which I really need to do to get into the rear of these units, recharge some stuff. And these units will hold on for a bit, but they're starting to drop. And then once his Oathsworn's free, you can start doing shit over here. and that'll be a problem. My Lancer in the center also losing a few men. His general as well losing some men. But his Oathsworn is breaking through, and this is just really bad for me. So now I'm finally going to get into his lines behind, but his Job Cab is just running away, kiting effectively to shoot. He's killing off this Celtic, so his Noble Horse here will be pretty effective. In the center, we're losing. Here, we're losing. And, you know, this is only a matter of time before he's really going to dominate this fight, and we're still not really doing anything on this flank. Like, fights are pretty close here, which is not good. We're here, I'm finally getting into his Jab Cav. He has to protect his Slinger, so he sacrifices some of his Thrashing Cav. But you can see his collapse is already coming onto my side, and I don't really have an answer for this. All I can do is kind of shoot his general, which is doing some damage, which is good. But this center blob is quite healthy. I really don't have much infantry left because these guys are dead. Basilian Hoplites are dead. Axe Warriors here are not all that healthy. My general getting involved. My Terratines have killed off quite a few of his Jav Cav, which is good, but you can see I only have one Terratine left because I lost some to his Noble Cav over here. And now I'm finally getting into his rear lines, but it's a bit late. His Oathsworn here is still 60 men. They can kill off this blob. His other Oathsworn's 117 men, so I'm not going to be able to kill that. And you can see pretty obviously this is going to be no bueno for me. You can Raiding Horse is going to kill off these Terratines, but Celtic Warriors in support. But I don't have enough units here. My general's healthy, but that's about it. His general is actually going to survive to the last man. But anyway, we can kind of see that, well, I lose the game, so things didn't go well, obviously. But in the next game, essentially, you have to figure out a better way to do things. Otherwise, you're just going to lose the same thing. If you play exactly the same way, he won the game, so he's likely to play a very similar kind of approach. But you have to change something if you lost. But that being said, like, I still think my approach was kind of fine. It's just like the execution was not so good. So when that happens in a game, right, you have to, well, obviously the hardest part, I think, is to actually figure out what you did wrong, or if you did something wrong, and whether it was in your army, or your approach, or your execution, right, those are three different things. Like, your army selection could be wrong, or just bad, your idea, like your plan, could be bad, or you just had a good plan, but you messed up how to execute the plan, right? All of those are valuable. So we're gonna go with this exactly the same armies here, and we're just gonna play it again, but this time, first of all, we're on a bit of a better map for me, on the open field where you can't really hide behind the forest as much. Which is going to be good for my Cav, it's going to be good for my Jav Cav. It's going to be easier to see everything, a bit easier to micro, essentially. Getting some nice early damage into the Thracians, whatever. But we'll see that the fight is going to come pretty thick and fast. You can see his line is a bit this way. I want to attack this flank as well. And I want to run away over here because I want to shoot, units that come this way. I can shoot them on the side. And if I'm overwhelming this flank, my slingers can come over here and start shooting things in the right side as well. So this is my kind of plan, and we're just going to go for it. Because again, this Oathsworn, I had to, like I said before, I have to attack an Oathsworn somewhere. But my plan is not to just, like, in the previous game, I kind of let him fight my Basilian Hoplites. Instead, I'm just going to go after this Oathsworn with my Cav, with my Axe Warriors, with my better units, and try to kill it off. Instead of letting it just survive, I want to destroy it, and that will open up the entire flank because there will be no Oathsworn there anymore. And the other Oathsworn, I'm going to kite as much as possible and never fight it. So we're just going to attack the Lily Freeman, pretty kill them off. My Basilian Hoplites can beat a combination of a Celtic Warrior and a Spear Warrior, so I'll just attack them in the center here. Javelins them, whatever. And you can see now, I've successfully locked down the flank. And now it's just this Oathsworn, and it's very, very isolated against 2 Axe Warriors, a Payas Lancer, Jav Cav, all my units here. He could be a bit faster to rotate here, but he's, he's moving over that way. But the Oathsworn's on the flank, so it is isolated. And as soon as I tie down this Levy Freeman, I know it's isolated. You can see he even tries to get a Spear Warrior out here, which is a good decision. I'm going to bait out the Javelin Volley. This is just classic stuff, okay? He throws my Javelin Volley, I run away. Now we're going to charge, and I don't want to engage with this Axe Warrior again. Like, I'm going to charge my Lancer. I want this Axe Warrior to come across so this guy can surround, right? Even though that's maybe not ideal, but whatever. I take this fight terribly because I javelin the fuck out of my own unit, but it's still pretty good. Then I make a mistake here. I went to go rear charge these units, but I need to actually kill the Oathsworn here. Just charge in here. So I should have made a better decision there, but okay. But you can see, he's not even aggressing on this flank right now, he's just rotating everything over here, but that's fine. I can take this fight, and I know it's going to be better for me, because this Oathsworn's out of the fight, so all these fights are good for me. You can bring a Tribal in, but it's just one Tribal against so much support. Here's General gets a nice charge on this Axe Warrior, but doesn't lose too many men. And his Tribals are going to get a nice charge, a nice counter charge there. But now this Oathsworn is just isolated. He brings in a Noble Cav, which is going to get recharged by my General. And here I'm just going to start pressuring his Jav Cav out, because I know I can take them on 1v1 and javelin them as well. And so now he's just full rotating this way, so I'm going to full rotate this way. But this is always going to favor me, because I'm already dominating a flank, right? And so now he has to, he can only pretty much send support into this blob, but if it blobs up, that's fine, as long as I can win on the flank, because I'll just surround. And I can always cycle charge here as well. But his Oathsworn is not committed, right? As long as his Oathsworn is not committed, I'm chilling. No big deal, really. The Oathsworn is starting to win, though, on the flank. Again, that's why I needed this surround on it, but it's already lost a good 30 men. Here, he gets a nice support into this cav fight, but that's fine. Both of his cav are here. I'm just going to shoot the shit out of them with my Jav cav. My Lancer's probably going to go down, though. That's okay. And now this Tribal Warrior is trying to support on the flanks, trying to get numbers on the flank, so I'm just going to go and surround it now. So again, now he is actually starting to win on this flank, but the support is on the way here, and this unit's going to come back anyway. This cav have taken a lot of damage. You can see I'm surrounding on this other flank because he's rotating so much to this flank now that I can use my superior like numbers. Again, he has to use his Jav cav against my cav, so he can't, you know, he has so few cav that I have an extra Jav cav over here. His slingers have been moving around and getting shot the whole time, and now the advantage is just clearly a lot better for me. Here his Oathsworn is just chasing into the abyss. It's not going to get a fight, whereas last time he's already probably, at this point in the battle, already killed off my entire flank, whereas I don't have a flank anymore. I'm just running away, and my slingers are just going to sit right here, and if his Oathsworn tries to recharge this fight, I'll just shoot the crap out of the Oathsworn. If they kill my Missile Hoplite, I don't really care. His cav is quite depleted, and now his Oathsworn here is just caught again in the middle of nowhere, and it's going to be an easy kill. Nice charge from the Lancers, going to do a lot of damage. Here I almost went for a surround, but I realized my Missile Hoplite was on this side of the tribal, so there's no point. Just going to get the charge on the Oathsworn. Can charge it from the back so that my cav can continuously recharge. Terrantine is making an impact here. Spear Warriors die. And again, now I can just run away from the Oathsworn with the Missile Hoplites. So you can see I'm just going to chase the Slingers here instead. So his Oathsworn hasn't done anything. His Spear Warriors are going to get into the back of my army now, but that's fine. Like, they're just Spear Warriors. My Missile Hoplites can tank that. And now all he has left is Levy Freeman on the flank to pressure my Slingers, so my Axe Warrior can kill it off. Over here, my Terrantines can also shoot his Cav, which is good. But fortunately, they do get caught. It's kind of bad. But now you can see I'm overwhelming the flank very easily, and these units are just dead. And there's not much compensation because the other Oathsworn, yes, it's full, but it also has like 29 kills, right? It's not done anything. Whereas the other time the Oathsworn was full and also had like 2 unit kills, so that's not really great. So these units are going to go down. His cavalry is weak, and this is pretty much, you know, much better. So this time I didn't get you know, bogged down in a fight with the Oathsworn. I overwhelmed the flank. I kind of messed up still on how to destroy the Oathsworn, but it was still kind of fine. And the other Oathsworn has much less impact on the game. And now his other units can just go down. Go chase his cav off the field, kill his general, whatever. Everything is good. Life is good, you know. So this was, you know, a good improvement over the previous game. Still not perfect, maybe, but I think this was like, I think the plan was the same as last game, maybe with a few small tweaks, but the execution was better. I think the big difference was actually trying to go after the Oathsworn, whereas just in the previous game I just let it fight with Missile Hoplites and try to kill other stuff. In this game I just tried to kill the Oathsworn, and then everything else is kind of weak relative to the Oathsworn. So yeah, I think that was the big difference. And okay, so now it's 1-1. And now you have to understand, when I start winning, right, I expect him to make a change, right? Maybe not his army, but his approach or something, right? So we go into the next game on Nimdasena, game 3, decider game, and he brings, yeah, we both bring the same army again. No difference there. But he is going to play slightly differently. So again, I'm fine with what I did. I think I can improve my execution slightly, but I don't think his army has in the way that he played it in the last game. I don't think his army has an answer for my strategy. So I'm like, okay, you know, we're gonna go for this attack on the left here. We're gonna rush the flank, kill the Oathsworn, and then start, you know, dueling in the center with the Missile Hoplites. And then my infantry will win on the flank with the Cav, and we push back his Jav Cav. You can see immediately. Looks like his plan is to be a bit more condensed. I mean, we'll see. Right now he's just letting my Jav Cavs around. Maybe that's just like whatever. But he's you know, pretty condensed. We'll see if he stays that way. So I'm again just gonna rotate to the left, shoot his slingers, rotate over, and you can see he's immediately not letting me take the flank. Right? He's shifting this way as I try to rotate around the flank, so that he still has his units on the edge of the flank. So maybe he's not letting me do as much right now. He's shifting though and not shooting, so I'm just gonna run away and let my slingers just shoot his slingers because he's not shooting back, so this is like pretty free. I'll take the free damage when I can get it.
Yes, Commander.
So now I'm gonna start with an extra kill or two and some extra damage on his slingers compared to mine. And he's shooting my infantry or my cav or something, so maybe, you know, pretty good shots for him, so I'll just run away, but you know, I'm going to take this time to just, you know, again, I'm going to keep wrapping around the flank because I know his reaction is going to be to keep shifting. Maybe his slingers will not shift anymore, though. That's what I did. I just didn't shift my slingers. But I was, you know, I'm winning the slinger war, so I might as well not engage. Here, his O-Swarm was isolated, so I was like maybe going to go for this charge. As you can see, I'm well up on the flank. But the key is to tie down this Levy Freeman because that's going to open up the rear. If I can't tie this Levy Freeman down successfully or in a good way, then I don't want to take this fight. Here he's running away, so I'm going to run away again. Look how, you know, compared to last game, he's extremely condensed. All his units, he's already rotated this tribal warrior over here because he knows I'm trying to go around the flank. So okay, I kind of have to take a different approach potentially because this is not going, you know, he's reacting to what I did in the last game. He's doing a better job against it. But my slingers are dominating right now, so I'm going to rotate back the other way. Because look how isolated this tribal is. It's like all the way on the flank here. I can get a better engagement by doing exactly the same thing on the other side, right? Because look, there's no Levy Freeman here. Okay, it's inside his lines a little bit. He's clearly trying to go this way. His tribal is out of position. I'm going to go this way now, right? And my units are exactly the same on this flank. 2 Axe Warriors, 1 Celtic, and some Missile Hoplites, and some Cav. So I'm going to go onto the flank a little bit more. So I'm going to lose, you know, my slingers are trying to shoot. I kind of messed up with some of my slingers, like not shooting with this guy for some reason. I don't know why I went all the way back there, but whatever. But my slingers should still be, you know, doing fine. In the middle, maybe he's starting to win because he's shooting a 2-1. But this slinger is definitely not doing anything. Otherwise, I would still be winning the slinger war, I think. And now you can see he hasn't really reacted super well to this kind of switch up. But it's not really a huge deal for me because I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do exactly the same plan on this flank. But his tribal warrior is completely out of the fight, which means this flank is super weak. So I'm just going to go for an attack here. Again, I want to tie down this Levy Free with my Celtic so I can just get a free win there. This Axe Warrior can flank. This O-Sword can get surrounded, whatever. And there's also just giving me this entire flank, so I can start getting infantry behind, cav behind, and then start recharging him, right? So he has to respect that, and I have 2 Jav Cav already behind. My other Terrantines right here, so all 3 Jav Cav can potentially collapse on this flank as well. So again, he still hasn't really reacted to this, right? So I'm still thinking this is a good time to move. I just need to get my other units in position. I don't want to attack while these units are super far away. I want to get them back over here and then attack here, just so they're a little bit more coordinated. Slinger War, you know, whatever, is still going. It's probably evening out now a little bit because I wasn't shooting for a bit with this guy, but it's all good. He's now, again, he's trying to counter-rotate this way, but he's still not in position because this Tribal Warrior, I think, is massively out of position. If the fight's going to take place over here, this Tribal Warrior can get kited for quite a bit. So here comes the fight. He's going to charge in with his O-Sword. I'm going to counter, you know, I bait out his Javelin Volley, so I'm going to counter-charge. Celtic getting into the Levy Freeman as usual. Lancer going to get a charge into the back of the O-Sword, very nice. And now I know I can just take this fight because the O-Sword just got recharged. He's trying to avoid losing the Levy Freeman, so I guess he realized that was a problem, and he's trying to counter rush me quickly over here. But here I'm just going to keep kiting out this Tribal Warrior. Maybe I end up taking this fight over here because he's chasing me. But again, I could still keep kiting here. Probably better to do so. But anyway, his O-Sword gets in a terrible fight here. He's going to get owned. Here again, I have a good fight in the center. I'm going to countercharge his tribal with my Celtic and then shift my other units inside to deal with this spear. And on the flank, again, his flank is the most isolated thing because there's no support. I tied down his one unit that was in support, the Levy Freeman. The Spear Warriors are still in here. And now it's just Cav versus Cav. And he's shooting this blob with his Noble Horse and my Mazzillion Cav, but I'm also shooting it, so 7 Jav Cav are shooting this blob, which just means everything's going to die. Which is perfectly fine for me because his Noble Horse costs quite a bit more than my Mazzillion Cav. It's also his General. Tries to pull him out, but he's actually has less men alive than me, so this is going to be fine. And his General's pretty much going to die. Over here again, just killing these isolated units where I can. His O-Sword's coming in here, so I'm just going to let my Celtic Warrior die. That's fine. My Axe Warrior is just going to get out and kill the Spear Warrior. Because again, I don't really care what happens over here. I'm just going to win over here, and then whatever happens over here will just be too little too late for him. Now his General's dead, so his morale is going to be shit. Slingers are just routing. I just charge this Jav Cav here because I know I can just kill them off with the support of these Lancers. And, you know, things are collapsing. His O-Sword's in a terrible fight. Still gets 100 kills, but that's probably going to mostly be on Celtic Warriors and Axe Warriors, so it's not really cost effective. Oathsworn going down. Celtic Warriors still dominating this fight against the Secret Warriors. Winning in the center here. Okay, he kills off this one Massilian hoplite that just ran through his lines. But even over here, you can see, like, I'm able to just ignore this Oathsworn for a super long time. It's only now getting back into the fight, but he's now going to be losing this fight because I can shoot him in the back and charge him in the back. He's going to lose this fight. He can maybe win this one fight because of his support coming in the rear, but he's going to lose this fight in the center. He lost the cow fight because there's no support, and this is just going to be very dominant endgame. Just attack, attack, attack. Shoot down his cav. You know, my lancers are still healthy, my general's still healthy, my cavs, everything's pretty much healthy, and this is just going to be, clean up crew, recharge his shit. And so even this game, when he adapts, then I had a better plan to counter adapt, and he wasn't able to, realize what was going on until it was a bit too late. So I think, anyway, it's not maybe not the best example, but just a quick example of how you have a plan for your opponent, like you see their army, you see their composition on the battlefield, what are you gonna try to do? And then especially, well, if you have one game, like a best of one, that doesn't really matter, you can't really adapt. But in a series like this, you have to try to recognize what's going wrong and come up with, either slight adjustments or, if necessary, very large adjustments. I felt like I didn't lose the first game by too much. It was both, my mistakes on the right flank where I didn't cut away, and also the way that I engaged the Oathsworn on the left where I didn't get a path behind him very easily. Um, and so the second and third game, I just fixed that, and you can see the results came quite easily for me. So in general, I think that's just a super useful tool to be able to adapt and change your plan on the fly. Of course, that relies on you being able to figure out what's actually going wrong. If you misidentify that, then you might, lead yourself into trouble. But, it can still, I, I think so much of the time I see games where it's like people lose the same thing like 3 times in a row. I don't think that should ever happen. Like, if you lose to something, it's better to lose to a different thing than to lose to exactly the same thing, right? Like if you lose to exactly the same thing twice in a row, it's just like the enemy doesn't have to adapt themselves, right? If you lose, you want to try to adapt and make the enemy or opponents, adapt as well. If you lose to the same thing, that means that you're not testing your opponent's ability to do different things. You're just saying, well, I'll try this again. The opponent will be like, okay, I'll do exactly the same thing, and then you still lose. Of course, if you try something different and your opponent still wins the same thing, okay, fair enough, right? At least you tried something different, but it wasn't maybe you didn't have the right approach or something when you adapted your idea. But if you if you just play exactly the same way and lose to exactly the same thing, that's like your opponent has to do minimal work to actually win that second game. Whereas if you try to change things up, your opponent has to at least change their own, change things up themselves, or they risk losing, right? As long as your idea is well thought out, I guess, which is just necessary. But hopefully that's a helpful quick tip. I want to try to make more of these like faster ideas that I think were really helpful. So maybe you'll see more of those in the future. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Peace.